So in this video, I'm going to talk about some of the common scams. I'll finish off the scam on the bus from 2016, and then I'll talk about some of the common scams. So I was up. The woman realized I was up, the woman across, because it seems like they work together. One person sits at a distance, and there were empty seats, so she didn't have to come and sit next to me. And then the person, the scammer or the thief, sits next to the victim. So once she realized I was up, she was kind of stuck there. And then I turned and looked at her like this. She got up and went back behind. I started to get my phone because I was going to take her picture. And instead, what she did was she lowered her head. So when I was going to get off the bus, I was going to take her picture, and she was hiding. So that's how I knew that was going to be a scam. So I'm going to go over some of the common scams. So in the previous video, I said a common scam is not going through the door when you hold it and then pretending that the door slams and hits the person's watch. So the person has a watch on and the person hits the door with the watch, and the watch glass, which is meant to shatters, and then you feel guilty that you broke the watch. That's one scam. The second scam is, I think, is connected to this, where you fall asleep, they steal your purse, or they, steal your wallet. That's another scam. Another scam is when one person stops you and asks for directions, someone else comes and steals your wallet or steals your purse. Another scam is when you are walking down the street, someone bumps into you, steals your wallet, steals your purse. Another scam is when someone asks you for directions and you're standing there giving them the directions, someone else comes and steals from you. These are the basic scams. And you notice the main thing about these scams is that you feel comfortable in your environment, or you want to help, or it preys on your wanting to help somebody, feeling comfortable in your environment, trying to losing a sense of what's going on around you. So that's part of what they were saying to me, these scammers who are hurting me. So when they hit me here, I felt a vibration, but it wasn't the same as being hit here. So I think what they're trying to do now is figure out exactly what area it is. It's this area, because this is the area that's sore. So they're talking about short-term memory loss in connection to this, but it's more than just short-term memory loss. It's the fact that if your head is hurting, your eyesight is blurry because they target your eyes, your body aches, you are already distracted. Then having them talk to you 24/7, following you around with sounds, noise, and talking, you're already distracted, which would make you easier to victimize. That's why I'm telling, they keep trying to say that I always had this happening to me. It's not true. That's my point. That they don't want to accept that this started in 2016, because that puts the responsibility on the people who tried to recreate it, which they said are the people at Lacoste. They also said, well, I was going to mention, and I didn't mention, that someone who worked at me for Verizon showed up at the boutique at Lacoste. And I thought that was strange. I was also going to ask him, I'm interested in going back to Verizon, but I never did because I decided against that. And that's my point. They seem to have listened to me and picked up on little tidbits of stuff and tried to make it into a big deal to shift the focus from the bigger deal, which is targeting me and hitting me, disfiguring me also. So they brought back someone from Verizon. Then they brought back someone from Saks Fifth Avenue. Let's see, who else? They did these things to set me up because they thought this book that was written by my professor was based on reality. It's a fictional book. She did use my name and my likeness, but it was a fictional book. So bringing people into my life, and then they said they brought back the sociopath. Then they said they brought back the college ex-boyfriend. Again, this idea that they had the rights to violate my rights, then breaking into my apartment, stealing stuff. They also divulged that I had things set up for a business that I was working on. All of these things they're big scams. So these are big scams, but you notice how the little scams are part of the bigger scam. And that's my point. When you have people who are so good at scams it's hard to know what scam is coming next. So after I would get off work, I would be on the train, I'm listening to my radio, and everyone comes, they leave everyone else on the train to ask me for directions. They would do it when I was on a platform. I even stopped sitting near any maps and they would still come to me. And that's part of the scam. That's when I start, when people want to know, when did I start to realize something was wrong? When all of a sudden I'm the person everyone's asking directions. And these are people who passed other people. When I visit someplace, I usually don't, oh, they're going to cut me off now. I usually don't go to just anyone to ask directions. They specifically targeted me.